Hello and welcome to another Demis Hellen tutorial. Today we're going to look at effects and Atmos, and I'm going to show you in this layered section here where my mouse is, and just show you how I've layered it up and what inserts and effects chains I've put on there to achieve the depth and kind of the atmosphere for this mid section. But first I'll let you listen to this section here, how it leads into the Atmos, and then we'll talk about it after. Okay, so here comes the breakdown.
The universe. Disappear to the universe.
Okay, so let's loop this section here and we'll break it down. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of parts in there. Not as many as I usually use, but there is enough. And I could put a few more in there, to be honest, but we'll see how it sounds when I re-listen to this. So first things first, we have track 1. So I wanted to create a neutral zone, which means you've got all of this going on. There's loads of influence. The bass line's making the energy. You've got this bit of a melody on the top, and you think it's going to go somewhere. And really, instead of just dropping into the melody or the pads and the chords and things, I thought I'd just drop into a neutral zone just by hitting the root note. So the first root note is here. Apologise, this one. We'll swap these around. So it's just a pad preset from Hive. So there's the preset bank here. Einzelhev, and it's brass swell. Cracking preset group there as well for Trance, definitely. So just use that. I do tend to make my own stuff like that, but that just hit me straight away as it was used as a guideline originally, but I just straight away thought I'm keeping that in there. Then we have this section. She's just supporting the first initial chord. I'm working in octaves here, and then working in octaves here as well. Just had a bit of depth in there before it fades out. Leaving that top note there lingering, just like you hear in the movies. It just leaves that note, you know something's going to happen, something's going to click. So that is the reason for that. So with them two together, and again, it's called diving, this one. In the same pack. Just tweaked it a little bit just to suit this a bit better. Okay, so that is how that progresses. So let's take a look on the mixer side of things. So these first two here, and I do apologise that they are not named. So the big bass. I've done a roll off at 20 Hz, and I've done a bit of a bass boost here, just to kind of bring up the level of that lower end. Dipped out some of the boxiness just to keep it from clashing with other things, then just rose that up a little bit because it's on its own, and I wanted the sparklier bits of the low end to come through. And then it's gone through a compressor, and it's pretty much on the default settings, apart from the threshold per position, the ratio, and the release. So it's just capturing those really harsh, look how loud it gets here. Kind of levels out. Then look at that, captured that huge dip there. So it just smooths the sound out and keeps it from cluttering up the headroom for the rest of the track and for the rest of the sounds in that section, really. And that's it for the time being. There is nothing else on there. It doesn't need anything else. And then same for this pad. I've just rolled it off. Because if you're choosing your sounds wisely and you go through them all and listen to them all, one's just going to fit, slot right in there, and this is one of them. So the only thing I'm going to do to this one is add some reverb from the send track. There, so it just puts it in a little bit of a stereo field there. Okay. So they're the first two sounds. Now we have all these other bits. So let's take a look at what's here.
The universe.
So this is the voice, which happens at the end of this phrase. I just wanted to see why it was in the effects and Atmos section. So I'm just going to put vocal on there. I'm actually going to drag that out of that group. We'll look at that anyway. So next we have this sub sound. Okay, so I must have omitted that at some point and not wanted it there. That's really odd. Let's just take a look at this. Fix sub. If I've rolled off the bass, which I have, so I've obviously dropped another sample on that track. This happens from time to time, so that explains why I made another audio track here for this to sit on. So you're discovering problems and things, real world things that are happening in the mix. So this sound should sound like this. There we are. So we're just going to check that out on the mixer. So it's already quite low. And it looks like it might already have another sound on it. Nope. So I must have had this in mind at some point. So let's just take the compression off. Just going to roll it off at 20, which is on this screen, sorry. So we're clipping. So I'm just going to bog that down, just 2 dB. Then we'll use this to balance it. So let's listen. So I have a feeling that's going to be a bit too loud. I don't want it to be too prominent in there, so I'll leave it there. So that is that sound, and you've just seen the processing that goes into that one. So we'll put that there, and we'll call that sub sweep. All right. So next on the list is a down sweeper, but we don't have it in this section, so we'll skip that one for now. And then we have these two Atmos effects here. So this one is the same as this one. This one's reversed. This one isn't. So these are just straight out of the Vengeance Effects Pack 2. It's quite old now, that. And then that's the same sound, but the right way around. And I've just literally dropped them in. And as you can see, let's just drag this over here. So you can see how intense that sound was. It literally takes over the track. It's that intense. If we just remove that, it's quite harsh on the ears. So what else did we have on there? We just had some EQ. Sorry, these keep appearing on the second screen, and it's just rolled off. So just to remove any low end that is in there, this is purely for atmosphere. And then, as you can see, it's going through the reverb send as well to give it some spatial awareness in the mix. So that is that section. So let's drag that up. We'll put the down sweeper at the bottom here for now. Okay, and then we have this sample. As you can see, there's a bit of automation going on here. Okay, so there's a bit of panning automation going on there, and just wanted to add something in there that give it a little bit more of a left and right balance, because we've got a bit of depth in the mix front to back, but left to right not so much. So I've started with this one. There's going to be a few more things that kind of flutter around, but that in context sounds like this. Let's just remove them. You can just hear it float through to the right here, and then that is complemented straight after by this reverse pinging sound, and then this atmosphere, and then the pinging sound just hitting as normal, and again copious amounts of reverb. As you can see, all these channels pretty much have reverb, apart from this one, which is the solid center bass. So this one, as you can see, it's called IMG 1950. It's from a video, and it is of my other half. She has these moments where she does stupid things, so I took this voice and just processed it and reversed it to fit in and give a bit of atmosphere. Okay, so in context, it gives a nice texture. It just adds to the flavour of the track, the mysteriousness of it. And this has got some ping pong delay, set at quarter notes, as you can see. Cut off some of the lows and then just tweak the settings. So then it goes through hysteresis, free plugin. So I've reviewed this before, and this plugin just has loads of weird stutter, delay, and just like modulation all over the shop. So it's worth just having a mess around with this. So I've just set up a preset there, and that's how it gets that effect. And then finally, we're using a bandpass to control the frequency range of the voice. So nothing too special there, and a bit of reverb. So let's listen to it without this on, hysteresis, and then with it on. And then with it on. I've just put some stutter on there and some copious amounts of modified delay from that plugin. So that is how that one is working, and it repeats again there. And I think you hear it at the beginning as well. Yeah, you hear it in this section here where everything's going nuts. Then we have a hit here, kind of self-explanatory. You can see a bit of processing, bit of tal reverb. I didn't want to put it through the reverb channel, so I wanted this to be separate. And then a bit of EQ just to control it. Remove the boxiness and remove some of the lows because I didn't want it to really impose, and we are clipping. Okay, so in that case, I'm just going to control the headroom there and bring the volume up and center it. And then with it on, This is the only problem. I know many of you have said before, don't do it. I'm still using an Apple mouse, and every so often when you're just using the mouse like this, you end up swiping like that. And I'm not even clicking, it's just moving on the top of the mouse, and it's quite irritating, but I've never got round to buying another mouse. So don't judge me, please. So let's just zero that one, zero that one. Okay. So that's the effects hit there. And then we have the down sweeper. So we'll just have a quick look at this, which is here. So I have time warped it, so I've stretched its timing just to give it a little bit more of a... you wouldn't usually do it because it sounds awful, but I wanted that kind of mysterious, discombobulated feel to it. So I've put it through a reverb and just a bit of compression just to keep it nice and tidy. And that's it, because it's already filtered off pretty well. And I think I've used the EQ. See, today I've used the EQ that's built in for whatever reason to remove the bass. So that is layering up all this. It's just the utilization of sound. It's picking the right ones, and it's giving it that reverb space. And just like a little trick for you, if you're wanting to give it a bit of space, like this one. If you pull back the highs, like this, so it's turned into a bandpass now, but if you bring back the highs, it gives the impression that the sound is a little bit further away in your depth of front to back mix. So try and experiment with some sounds that really could utilise being pushed further back in the mix. This is closer, this is further away. Now it sounds like it's behind a closed door or something, and you open the door. So think of how your sounds are placed. Don't just cut the lows and the highs out. Think, I've got two pads. I want one to sound more towards the back of the mix at the back of my head, and I want this one to be at the front. That's a sort of technique you can use there to achieve that, just simply with EQ, and then putting some reverb on, making different size rooms and things. Like you can see, these have all got like different levels. Some of them are the same, and then some are like slightly higher, just to give them more presence in that reverb channel. Yes, so that is looking at Atmos. If you enjoyed the tutorial, if you enjoyed the track, let me know, because this is now 100% complete. You might have heard it on my Instagram. If you haven't, just follow me over there on Instagram and you'll hear it on there. But I'll give you a little taster of the drop here. So thank you very much for watching. Drop me a comment, hit the like button and subscribe. 2 videos per week, and I will see you in the next video.